Hello.
Good morning, Mayor. It's the 17th of December, Rabbi Furst, Pirkei Avos.
Okay, very good. Thank you. As Lou mentioned, this is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here, Yeshiva Samanaf Yerushalayim Zoom. Our first shir this morning, learning about the Alanissim that we say on the days of Hanukkah, which are approaching within almost a week's time. Okay, yeah. So again, so their intention was to, in opposing Klal Yisrael, to have us forget HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Torah.
Right. So they wanted to wipe out the spirituality, but keep the how can I say it, the physical, the economic uh, environment of the Jewish people. Okay. Let's see. Ulahavi Ram Mechukei Ritzonecha. Just trying to think a good word for Lahavi Ram.
Ulahaviram mechuke rotzenecha. I like to. I'm not sure that in terms of the grammatics, the grammar here so much to have them transgress the decrees of your will.
Ah,
But I'm not sure what is the mem mechuke rotzenecha. What is the
To cause them to stray from your decrees.
oh, is that what Lahavi Ram is?
To
Lavor
stray?
is to pass over and to cause, okay, to stray.
I'm going to consider. I'll be right back.
Could be.
I mean, chuk is a law, a statute, I think.
Right.
So the statutes of your will.
Mhm.
No. What?
Okay. So that's something that was a secondary something apparently something secondary.
Okay, Mr. Shem, I'll find out today.
So that you mentioned two things, right? One was la shkicham
Yeah.
torasecha, ulaviram mechuke rotzenecha, to forget the Torah and to have them stray from your decrees of your will.
So, right. So as I said before, they didn't want to destroy the Jewish people, but they wanted to impose on them their government, their rules, I guess, their decrees, as
Right.
opposed to that of Hashem's. Okay. Let's see. Viata
Yeah,
bracha.
that's what my
Yeah.
script says. It says Ulahaviram, and to compel them to stray, me chuke, from the statutes Ritzonecha, of your will.
Okay.
Okay.
So the implication again is that in order to maintain a society, they wanted to impose their uh, literally their statutes on the Jewish people.
Right now, this was this is in contrast to Rome. Um, the little I know about how the ancients functioned, but Greece seemed to have a different um, agenda than the Romans. The Romans, in most instances, did not want to interfere with local custom, tradition, religion, economics, social intercourse, because the Romans were primarily interested in tribute. They simply wanted to bring as much money to Rome as possible. Right? They were not concerned about what was going on in the local populace, as long as they were peaceful and paid their tribute. So the Romans were basically happy. As long as they would get money going to Rome, the Romans were very, very happy.
Uh-huh.
It was only in the case of the conquest of Judea that the Romans broke from their normal policy. And they began to make decrees against the Torah and mitzvahs. And the reason why, in general, they never did this was because, as I said, their main interest wasn't just bring the money to Rome. And they understood that if the society, if the local native society would continue to run, that would be good for commerce. And the more commerce in the local community, the more tribute they would get. But if they would disrupt the local population, so that would slow or bring a close to commerce. That would be and that would close the avenues of tribute. So the Romans weren't interested in interfering with the local religion, traditions, and society. They wanted things to be a status quo. The Greeks, however, apparently, they had in part of their agenda of bringing Hellenism to the world. They wanted to subjugate their conquered nations and peoples in a way that they would be willingly or forcibly converted to Hellenism.
Hmm.
So therefore, they ran into trouble when they ran into the Jews. Because we don't go for that kind of stuff. So therefore, the first things mentioned here, Lahashkacham Torasecha, that they wanted to have the Jews forget the Torah. Okay, let's continue on.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. So, Yata Barachamecha Rabim. Okay, and you who have in great compassion, Amadata lachem be'et zaratam. You stood, I guess, with them at this time of distress, of their distress.
Right.
Hmm.
So we mentioned here that this was what HaKadosh Baruch Hu did here for us was out of Hashem's tremendous mercy he had for Klal Yisrael. So I think we're going to go into right now, but it's worth understanding where's the source of this tremendous rachamim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has for Klal Yisrael.
Mhm.
Right? That's something we can glean out. We can try and work on as we go further on.
Whoops. Hold it. Did I lose you? No. Okay. Uh, well, there's also how can I say this? Maybe a theological aspect of why did Hashem let the Jewish people get into this situation too?
Oh, so that's already discussed. I'm glad you brought that point up. Uh, the early means even the Rishonim speak about that was a his what we call it his rashless bavoda. It was a we can in our avoda, particularly the voda in the base of Migdash.
Ah, right.
That we'll go into that also. That and it seemed to begin with the Kohanim to a certain extent, and therefore specifically it was the Kohanim that were chosen as the ones to make the tikkun, the rectification, and bring the Yad of HaKadosh Baruch Hu clearly into this world through their Mesiras Nefesh. That we'll get to talk that about as well.
Okay. Okay, so let's see. Eight Saratam. Okay. So Ravta et Rivam. Uh, Ravta is you increased.
No, well, a Rav in the nun, if it's a nun, Rav is like is like a fight.
Oh, right. Reeve is coral. Right, 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 right.
So Rav es Rivam means like you fought their fight for them.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay. Right. Okay. Okay. Okay, then Danta et Dinam. I guess you judge their uh need to say judgments. Must be a better word for that.
Um, yeah, one second. Let's try and get a better word for that.
Maybe laws, dinim, maybe.
Um, um, hard word to come up with a synonym for. Let's leave it. Let's leave it for now. We'll have to come back and work on a better translation. How do they translate that? You have your sitter there. How do they translate that?
Yeah, I don't have mine with me. Right.
Which phrase is it you're looking at? Bravta? No,
No,
Dan.
Danta et Dinam, Lou.
Okay. Um, judge their claim.
Wait. Uh, oh, um, one second. I think we can do better than that. One second.
It's getting very late.
Late?
That's only 9:36.
Oh, what am I saying? I'm confused. Never mind.
You're an hour ahead of time. That's okay. That's okay. Um,
I'm always ahead, Rabbi.
that's good. Okay. Baruch Hashem. Um, um, one second. Ah, could be. One second. Maybe like grievance. Maybe grievance. Do you like that word, grievance?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
Dan, Danta es dinam. Danta, so but judge, like like mitigated. He mitigated their grievance.
Oh, I like that.
Okay,
Yeah,
write that
mitigate.
down, Lou, so we don't forget.
I'm right.
Thank you.
Okay, grievance.
We're just going through now, just swapping here. We're gonna go back and do all this again. So, just trying to get some things clear here.
Okay. Uh, so going on, let's see. Nakamta et nigmatam. Uh, let's see. You take revenge against those who avenge you, I guess.
I have avenged your wrong.
Oh, avenge your wrong.
They're wrong.
They're wrong.
Yeah, well, again, that's a little. It's a little bit vague also.
Well, this whole idea of this word, uh, uh, nakam, uh, which we translate as vengeance, um, I think it comes from Pinchas.
Right.
You say Pinchas um, avenged Hashem's vengeance, something like that in Parshas Pinchas or Parsha before that. No, in Parshas Pinchas it says that, I think. And if you look at what happened, um, it was actually justice that he did. He he reacted to a violation of halacha that was particularly heinous, and he took action to stop it. So that's not really what the English word vengeance means exactly. Um, there's an idea of a tit for tat, I think, in the word vengeance. That's not present in what Pinchas did. So whenever I see that word and it's translated as vengeance, I have in the back of my mind that it's kind of a just vengeance, or a vengeance of justice.
Right. Yeah, well, we'll have to work on this. And we've mentioned we've gone through this a few times, this whole concept of vengeance. Um, right, we'll have a chance to go through it a little bit more.
Huh.
But like maybe like we could say Nikamta es nikmat there. There's another good word like to vindicate. Right? Vindicate says it's like setting things right the way it should have been.
Yeah,
Not just vengeance. It's like it's a vindication.
right.
Hmm.
And maybe we could actually use the word grievance here also. We vindicated their grievance.
Mhm.
In other
Right. I was
in other words, if I have a grievance, then I could be questioned. Is your grievance right? Are you justified in what you're claiming, and what you're saying is the wrong that's been done to you? To vindicate you is to say you are right.
right. And and it also includes that they not just they were right, but they were wronged, and the wrong was set right. There was again, I don't want to say it's necessarily vengeance being taken out for the wrongs done against them, but there was um a justice done. Justice was done for what was done against them.
Right.
Hmm. Okay, let's see. Masarta Giborim Biyad Chalashim. And you gave over the strong into the hands of the weak.
So this to me is an interesting statement of defying the natural order. Generally the strong win out over the weak, and Hashem reversed that pattern. Delivering the strong into the hands of the weak is not natural.
Right. Now, and this also, I think, represents a change, a change in the aspect of what's being described over here, right? Up until now, we had the four things we said, or the three things were Rav to Es Rivam, number one, Dan to Es Dinam, Nikam to Es Nikmasam. Those were three things which were, in a certain way, as abstract. Now, there's a more particular course of action which is taking place. Now there's a course of action. The previous three statements were like the prelude to what's going to be described now.
Right.
Okay, let's look at these things.
Okay, then Virabim biyad ma'atim. So the many into the hand of the few.
That seems to continue the pattern of the unnatural progression.
Right.
Okay. Utameim biyad tehorim. So the unclean into the hands of the pure.
Now, there's no, I'm not sure if you have to say there's a like it for in contrast, we said the Moshe Giburim Biad Chaloshim, the Rabim Biad Ma'atim. These are things which are somewhat out of the ordinary. You could even say miraculous, right? Now, Tameim Biad Tohorim, I'm not sure if there's any specific, in terms of the teva, the way the world works, that those things which are tohor always have to be more dominant than those things that are tamek. Meaning, in terms of giborim, biad chalashim, they're normally those who are stronger have the upper hand. Those which are robbing biad ma'itim, the majority usually has the upper hand, right? But I'm not sure if you have to necessarily say that Tamaim or Tahorim are going to be any more dominant one over the other. I mean, usually Giborim are more dominant than the weak ones, and the majority is more dominant than the minority. But I don't know if it's necessarily true.
Well, I think that if you look at the way the world progresses,
Right.
you'll see that the danger of tuma uh, is highly regarded. It's a very great danger. For example, the army. There's a tremendous fear that if B'nai Torah go in the army, they will lose their Yiddishkeit. Why is that? Because they are tahor, and they're being now introduced into a tamei environment, and it's a very powerful influence. It's very easy for them to go off. Very hard for them to stay on the tahor track.
Right. Very good. This is something which is written about, that when a person has a choice, since we know there's a Yetzer Hara that's influencing a person to be inclined to which is tamei, and you have to have a Yetzer Hara tov, which influences a person to which is tahor. The Yetzer Hara has a stronger influence than the Yetzer Hara tov.
Right.
So any exposure that a person is going to have to which is something to which is tamei, he's at a greater risk than if he's exposed to something which is tahor. The reason for that is Hashem Kadosh Baruch Hu wants a person to be able to exercise his free will. And if the influence of the Yetzer Hara Tov was as strong as the influence of the Yetzer Hara, we'd have much less difficulty in choosing the right thing. And that would severely limit our Bechira, our free will. You see from the fact that Chazal tell us that a person doesn't really get his Yetzer Hara Tov until he's bar mitzvah, until he's 13. Right, Mary? You just had the bar mitzvah yesterday, right? Person doesn't get his real Yetzer Hara Tov until he's bar mitzvah. So as Rebbe Tusky Zechron Baruch once explained to us, you see that the Yetzer Hara has a 13-year head start on the Yetzer Hara Tov. In other words, the way he described it was, in sports, golf, tennis, other sports, bowling, if you're playing against two unequal partners, so the weaker partner gets a handicap, right, Lou?
Yeah, sure.
What's the purpose of the handicap?
To make the competition stronger. If the weaker person doesn't get the handicap, then he's obviously going to lose, and there's no challenge to it, either for the stronger one or the weaker one.
Right. Right. So therefore, the Yetzer Hara has a 13-year handicap over the Yetzer Hara Tov. The Yetzer Hara has been working with the person for 13 years.
But that implies that the HRR is weaker.
But in fact, it is. In fact, the HRR is weak. But that's only if a person's going to use his seichel, right? The seichel is a counterbalance to the strength of the Yetzer Hara. Something we have to discuss maybe a little bit more in depth as well. But here you see that the Tameim were put into the hands of the Tahorim. Okay, I see it's 5 to 10. All right, let's leave it here, and we'll pick up tomorrow with some more discussion about this Al Nisim here.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Lou. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you,
Thank you.
Eliezer.
Have a good day.
Okay, we'll start again the Mr. Bruce here shortly.
Okay.
In a few minutes.